Ha-cha-cha! Here he comes, he's the man about town. Jive Talkin, get out of now. Jive Talkin with Shane D. Get naked and get it for free. Will you climb in bed? Completely naked, you turn on the headphones and rock with me. Jive Talkin with Shane D. Get your heavy metal, hard rock news for free. What do? I check out the news on the internet and deliver it to you. That couldn't have been more perfect. Come on, baby, let's jive. Oh my God, that might be the best one I've ever done. You guys will have to get down in the comments and tell me if that's the best one I've ever done or the worst one I've ever done. I know there's some folks that just love to give me grief, and then there's other people that like to give me what do you call that? A push forward. You give me a boost so I can be good at things, okay? Welcome back to Jive Talkin with Shane Diablo, episode 75. Can you believe we've made it this far? 75 weeks. And what do? We read the weekly news stories that I find slightly interesting, and then I report them to you. You get in the comments down there in the video. You can listen to it on Spotify and watch it on Spotify, or you can listen and watch on YouTube. Thank you so much, all of you fine folks. I do have your comments right here, as you can see. But right there, first off, we've got to give this guy credit. Now, if you don't know this about me, I'm a Ghost fan. Tobias Fjörk, in his fine country of Sweden, Ghost wins Swedish Grammis Award for Impera. I'm hearing like a echo. Might be that little acoustic guitar. Anyway, so congratulations to them. Are they going to win a Grammy in the United States? Perhaps, but it'll be for Best Metal Performance. We're going to find out. I hope this article isn't all in Swedish, where they're going, in Swedish, you know, a lot of Swedish in there. So I hope that that's not the case, but why would it be on Blabbermouth if it's going to be in? Congratulations to the guys. I don't know who these guys are in the back, perhaps maybe songwriters that work alongside of him, but I don't think that would be the Nameless Ghouls, would it? Or do they just unmask and they decided that's what they want to do? Anywho, let's get into it. Ghost was honored in the Best Hard Rock Metal category at this year's edition of the Swedish Grammis Awards, Swedish Grammy equivalent, which was held Wednesday night, May 3rd, at the Annexet in Stockholm, Sweden. The band was nominated for their most recent release, of which came during the 2022 Best Hard Rock Metal nominees were as follows, and this is how they win. Is this all European bands or something? Amon Amarth, The Great Heathen Army, Arch Enemy, Deceivers, Ghost. Well, Arch Enemy isn't right. They're from the United States, aren't they? The Halo Effect, Days of the Lost, and Watain, The Agony and Ecstasy of Watain. Ghost was also nominated in the Album of the Year and Artist of the Year categories, but failed to win those. They wanted to give them to pop stars. Ghost leader Tobias Forge, who hails from Swedish town of Linkoping, accepted the award in person, telling the audience at the event, translated from Swedish, "Thank you so much for that. For some reason, I thought this would happen earlier in the evening. When I realized it would happen a bit later, as you know, it takes a lot of teamwork to make a record. Everything from getting the record together sonically to getting it out in physical form. I've worked with a lot of people, and halfway through there this evening, I realized, fuck, we haven't been mentioned yet. Our category hasn't been mentioned. I'm going to be way too drunk." I think my accent went away. I tried to do my Papa Emeritus. "So I told Klaus Öland, producer of our record, that if we win anything, we should get up here together because it would be difficult to remember everyone that's part of it. So some of the people who have helped us, Klaus Öland, Salam Al-Fakir, Vincent Pontre, Max Gran, and a whole lot of other people. Everyone from the Universal Nicholas Christian BMG Live Nation family has been there to help us so much. Thank you very much. Everyone has been involved. Ghost previously won 3 Grammis Awards. In the U.S., Impera was honored in the Favorite Rock Album category at last year's American Music Awards, while the Impera single Call Me Little Sunshine was nominated for Best what? Metal Performance at the 2023 Grammy Awards. Ghost's 5th album, Impera, sold 70,000 equivalent album units in the U.S. in its first week of release to land at the position number 2 on the Billboard 200 charts. It marked the 3rd top 10 and the 5th top 40 charting set for the Swedish act. Impera landed at number 1 position in Germany, Sweden. We did all these numbers before. Germany, Sweden, UK, Netherlands, Belgium, Norway, Australia, France, Ireland, and Italy. So there you have that. There you have that. Congratulations to Ghost. They're just a pop, rock, fun, good time. And when you see them live, it really brings the whole thing together. You know, I understand people like Ghost or they hate Ghost or whatever, but when you see them live, you go, my God, that was a pretty good time. You might be seeing me and old Jon Oliva from Savtage getting into a fist fight here. I think I could take him because Jon Oliva recalls nearly auditioning for Black Sabbath. I would have been the best singer for them besides Ozzy Osbourne. How dare you have the gall, sir, to think that you would have been a better singer than our fine Ronnie James Dio, rest in peace. I wanted to read this story and see what he was on about, but, you know, how do you get that call? That's an interesting story to have. I'm hearing this ring, and I think it's this freaking... I think it's that. Stop it. I have the ears of a producer, so I notice all these little noises. Jon Oliva recalls this. Let's get into it and see what he's going on about. In a New World exclusive interview with Sakis Fragos of Greece's Rock Hard magazine, Savtage leader Jon Oliva, not whatever I was calling Olivia, it's Oliva, confirmed that he nearly auditioned for Black Sabbath. In other words, he passed him in a bar and said, "You should let me." Right? For Black Sabbath, almost 4 decades ago, he recalls, transcribed by the Blabber, we, Savtage, were going to break up after Fight for the Nightmare, disparagingly referencing Savatage's 3rd 1986 album, Fight for the Rock. I mean, it was over. It was over. And I actually had a plane ticket and a Black Sabbath set list sent to me, FedExed. Was that around then, FedEx? I was supposed to leave like the day after, the next day, to fly to LA to audition for Black Sabbath because Geezer Butler, Black Sabbath's bass player, liked my voice a lot. And he says, "Who's that bleeding blacky guy over there? That guy that sings for Savtage? I really like the dulcet tones that's coming out of his bleeding bloody head." Sorry. Let's see. And Chris Olivia, then Savtage guitarist and John's brother, was going to fly to Phoenix to talk with Dave Mustaine about joining Megadeth. Wow. So we meet Savtage producer and Trans-Siberian Orchestra founder Paul O'Neill. He was like, "You guys are united. You're not splitting up. I'm not giving you $50,000, and I'm going to give you $50,000. Oh, he did? Paul? You're a damn nice guy. And I remember kicking my brother's legs underneath the table, and he gave us a check for $50,000, and he said, "You're not auditioning for Black Sabbath, and you, Chris, are not going to be in Megadeth. You've got to stay together, and we're going to do a real Savtage record." Which one was that? Wasn't that Hall of the Mountain King? To be honest with you, Chris and I didn't want to split up, Jon admitted. We love being together and doing our shit. We didn't want to split up. According to Oliva, he would have been well suited for the Black Sabbath gig. I would have loved to sing for Black Sabbath. I mean, I know. I'll tell you right now, I would have been the best singer for Black Sabbath besides Ozzy Osbourne. And I had a demo sent to me of Black Sabbath's Eternal Idol album. The song The Shining was one, and Ancient Warrior was another one. And then I got a list of classics like War Pigs, NIB, and I knew all of those songs anyway. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to tear them up. I was so confident. And then when Paul stopped us from doing that because he gave us all the money, he was going to keep us together and redo our contract with Atlantic. And then I found out that Ray Gillen flies out there to California in my place and gets the goddamn gig. You know what O'Neill said to me? He was like, Jon, I know you would have gotten the gig, but you were never going to make any money with him. I'm like, well, I haven't made any money in 20 years. It's Black fucking Sabbath, Oliva said. So Ray Gillen went out. He got the gig. And I like the Ray Gillen stuff too. So, because Ray was a really dear friend of mine. I loved Ray Gillen. He had a great voice. He was one of those magic guys. And he's not... and he got the gig, and he did a tour with them, and he raged, he kicked ass, and he sang all the songs, Eternal Idol, on the Eternal Idol album. And then he came up with Jake E. Lee and put Badlands together. Him and Paul actually put it... Oh, I'm not thinking of Ray Gillen, I'm thinking of Ian Gillen. But Ray Gillen's good too, he's the Badlands guy, now that I'm thinking about it. Hold on a minute, let me read this. Jake E. Lee and the Badlands put together. Yeah. Him and Paul actually put it together, and he quit Sabbath, and do you fucking quit Black Sabbath? And that's when they got Tony Martin. Well, what's wrong with Tony? I guess he just wants to be better than everyone, doesn't he? Old Jon Oliva just wants to be better than everybody. Here's a message to Iron Maiden here for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The odds are pretty good you're going to get in someday, but they ain't getting in this year. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame CEO says odds are good that Iron Maiden will eventually get inducted, unless some sweet hip-hop bands come up in the next year, because then you're not getting in. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame President and CEO Greg Harris has addressed criticism from heavy metal fans over the fact that Iron Maiden has once again been snubbed for the Rock Hall induction. Even though artists are eligible for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 25 years after the release of their first album or single, iconic hard rock and metal bands like Maiden and Motorhead have yet to be recognized by the institution, which inducted Guns N' Roses in the group's first year of eligibility. You ain't got Motorhead in there? I didn't know that. Man, what's going on over there? Greg Harris, you're really doing a bang-up job. I'm just parched today. Iron Maiden was on the ballot for the second time this year, but the institution voters snubbed them once again. Asked in a new interview with Taryn Daly of Odyssey how he feels about the fact that Rock Hall hasn't gotten so much negative feedback for excluding Maiden for the induction, Harris said, "Well, we love the people. We love that people care." That they care if they're in or out, and that their fans care. Now, the truth is anybody that's nominated, the odds are good that they're eventually going to get in. In fact, I think it may be as high as 90 percentile eventually go in. Rage Against the Machine, who are finally getting inducted this year. Okay, this is still him. This is still Bro talking. Are you familiar with a band called Rage Against the Machine? They got that guy, Tom Morello. He goes, squickety quack, quickety quack. They do the hip-hop metal. Rage Against the Machine, who are finally getting inducted this year. This was their 6th time, I believe. 5th time on the ballot, or 6th time. And so sometimes it takes a while. But let's see where it lands. Right now, let's celebrate this year's class. And we can start to debate about next year's class once the spotlight is off this year's class. The only metal or metal adjacent acts to have made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame so far have been Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Metallica, AC/DC, Judas Priest, Kiss, but they piss, Van Halen, Rush, Guns N' Roses, and Deep Purple. They call that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, I don't really give a shit who's in it, like George Michael's and all that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. But that is insane that they call it Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and that's the only bands they've inducted. Are you out of your damn minds? Let's see. The only metal or metal adjacent acts to have made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay, they did this twice, but it's got 2 separate. Oh, they just copied and pasted that. So I'm not the idiot here, guys. I was going to read it again, but I caught it. But it's in the article twice. Iron Maiden finished in fourth place in the fan vote for this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction class. George Michael led the fan vote with more than 1,040,000 ballots. Cyndi Lauper, 'cause girls just wanna have fun. Girls just wanna have. I like Cyndi Lauper. She came in the second place with 928,000 votes. Warren Zevon, Werewolves of London, came in, so he's going in 634,000. Iron Maiden landing more than 449,000 votes. Coming in 5th place was Soundgarden, which is pretty shocking to me. I thought they were going in for sure. More than 3 million votes were cast since voting began. The top 5 artists, as selected by the public, comprised by fans' ballots. That was tallied along with the other ballots to select the 2023 inductees. Who are they? I would like to know more of the list. Anyways, we'll move on from that. You want to click, boom it off? I did a little TikTok about this, but this is the bigger question here is the classic, is it okay to be a band when there are no original members left in said band? You're just using the name for a branding opportunity and playing the catalog. So I wanted to get a little bit into this one. Josie Scott, you know him? He's the Buck Wow. Click, boom. I knew a guy that looked a lot like him. And he lived in a mother-in-law apartment in his family's basement, and they really loved him deeply. And he reminds me, Josie Scott reminds me of this fella. Loved his, grown man that deeply, deeply loved his family very deeply. Didn't want to stay away from him for more than a day at a time, really. Camping was rough on him. But it says here, Josie Scott is fine with Saliva carrying on without any original members. They will do the honorable thing, which is, play the Saliva songs. And maybe give a blood sacrifice to the original members at some point in the show. Open a vein. In a new interview with Rock 100.5, the KKAT's Cameron Bushholtz. Original Saliva singer Josie Scott, a.k.a. Joseph Sappington, weighed in on the recent announcement that the band's surviving members will carry on as Saliva following the death of the group's last remaining original member. We got Quiet Riot, right? There's no original members left. Guitarist Wayne Swinney, Josie said, I'm very close with. current Saliva singer Bobby Amaru. And I know in my heart and in my soul that Bobby will do the honorable thing. He never hasn't done the honorable thing. And I just trust in his steering the ship at this point. And I know he's going to do the right thing. Just goddamn do the right thing, Bobby. Bobby, do the right thing. I know you're going to do the right thing. I know it's all going to work out. It's all going to be great. Josie also reflected on his relationship with Wayne in the months leading up to his death. He said, "We were just absolute brothers. I think there was things that certain news outlets said about our relationship that we said things about each other, or I thought that was going to go somewhere else. I thought it was going to be a loving relationship, like someone was reporting that they got on really well together, but I guess it's the opposite. That we said things about each other and there was some kind of tension between each of us. That was all blown out of proportion. We're always brothers. I can show you text messages after text messages, baby. And we would talk in the middle of the night, in the blankets, naked, but in separate beds, separate towns. But we were texting in the middle of the night and checking on each other. And we were always ended every text with, I love you, brother. I can't wait to see you again. My God, that's sweet. The last text that we shared was talking about him. I said, will you come play some solos on my new stuff? And he was like, yeah, of course I will, man. So we couldn't have been on better terms, and I am thankful for that. Rest in peace to Wayne here. Wayne Swinney for passing away. Shortly after the news Wayne's death was made public, Josie wrote on his social medias, I have no words. Just the love and the little moments and the looks that we shared just between us and the fans on stage after stage all over the world that no one will ever know playing music and writing music with a man like Wayne Swinney for as long as we did, like we did in all those places we did, is so very intimate. It was a love we shared together. And I will go into eternity holding on to that love and those memories forever. Hashtag the Toxic Twins. Oh my God, that was beautiful. Beautiful words could never be spoken, but I'll tell you what, he's a singer. He's a poem writer. He's the singer, okay? Let's get into why Jethro Tull. Remember when Metallica, they won the Grammy over, Jethro Tull won the Grammy over Metallica, and everyone was like, what? Man, fuck that. He's going to explain, Ian Anderson, he's the guy that puts the leg up, does the fluting. He's going to explain to us why he doesn't display his Metal Grammy Award at his house. Where does he display it? I want to know. Inquiring minds. Metallica was nominated for the very first Hard Rock and Metal Performance Grammy in 1989, but famously lost to Jethro Tull, a band distinguished mainly by its heavy use of flute. Fans and even some audience members were rightly outraged, though. Tull's record tried to make light of the faux pas by placing a billboard ad that read, "The flute is a heavy metal instrument." Asked in a new interview with Meltdown of Detroit's WRIF radio station, they were asking where he keeps his Grammy. Jethro Tull leader Ian Anderson says, well, my son found it a few years ago. It disappeared for about 20 years, and he stumbled upon it. He came down, and I said, what is this? Well, he said, I think, you know, I've got a bit of the froggy brains now, but I think it was him that said, Papa, what is this? And I said, that's my Grammy. Where did you find that? And he said, oh, It was in one of the bedrooms upstairs next to your dildos and all your sex toys and handcuffs and everything. In a cupboard somewhere. And I said, well, there you go. And since I have not seen it advertised on eBay, I must assume that he actually returned it to the cupboard that it came from. But I haven't seen it again since. I haven't gone looking for it either. Regarding why he doesn't display the Grammy at his house, Ian said, I am not disparaging or negative about peer group or accolades. It's very nice to have people enjoy your work, especially when it's the 5,000 voting members of the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences. But it's not something that I want to revel in. I'm not a trophy hunter. You don't find Grammys in my house displayed or gold albums on the walls or the head of a moose that I have shot with a large caliber rifle. I'm just not that kind of a guy. I don't do trophies. A little over a year ago, Ian was asked in an interview with the St. Louis, Missouri radio station KSHE 95 if he ever got a chance to rub it in the face of Metallica, the fact that his band won Hard Rock Metal Performance Grammy over San Francisco Bay Area metal giants. He responded, well, I think Metallica were actually very gentlemanly. At the time, they didn't say when they did win the Grammy next year. Oh, at the time, they did say when they did win the Grammy next year, as I predicted they would, and I did that. I actually wrote it down in a small envelope at the night that I won the Grammy, and then I placed it in that cupboard next to that Grammy, and I knew they was going to get their awards. They took out a page in a billboard thanking the record company, their fans, and family for supporting them. The dog, they thanked everybody, including Jethro Tull, for not releasing a new album that year. They had sense of humor about it. They took it on the chin, even though everybody was busy telling them that they were going to win a Grammy. And then, unfortunately, that year they did not. But they were not, they were a hot new act, and surely they were going to win it the following year. And, like I wrote down on that little thing now that I put in that drawer, they won. So there you have that. So he just basically doesn't care about it. Last little story here, and just we're going to read it. You know the guy, Sully Erna of Godsmack? He dated Lady GaGa. And he says she's an incredibly great person. Sully Erna dated her for a hot minute. I just wanted to hear a little bit of it. Check it out. In a new interview with Revolver, Godsmack frontman Sully Erna was asked about the recent revelation that he once dated pop star Lady GaGa. He responded, no, he says, listen, I really don't have to say a lot about this topic. What I will tell you is that I have immense amount of respect for her. I was introduced to her through a mutual friend. We clicked and dated for a hot minute, and there was nothing but respect for each other. There may be a lot of people in the world that think she's kooky and crazy because she's so wild with fashion and fun and things like that, but she knows exactly what she's doing. She's an extremely smart businesswoman. And she's kind and super talented. I'm proud to say that I shared the boudoir with her many evenings. No, he says, I am proud to say that I shared some great moments with her in the boudoir. I was able to meet Elton John through her. Goodbye, Norma Jean. She's an incredible, great person, and those are some very fond memories for me, and I'll leave it there. Thank you, Sully. You have just carved my podcast down to a nice, tasty morsel because of Sully Erna's wonderful briefness, and I love that. So it is time to get into your comments. This is the greatest portion of the show, right? I'm going to take a brief sip here. Mike Buchanan, we got him coming up. Of course, he's got his jokes of the week and stuff. If there's no other reason to tune in to this podcast, I would say the last 10 minutes of it for his jokes, your comments. Fast forward all the way through and get to the comments. Let's do it. For movies that are bad, we love them anyways, I give you 20 Million Miles to Earth, a classic from 1957. Begins with a spaceship crashing off the coast of Sicily. Aliens? No. Turns out U.S. astronauts landing after going to Venus. You can't go there. The air's too acidic. You can't go there. From there, all hell breaks loose as an alien from Venus gets loose in Italy. Oh, that sounds great. Look out, Rome. You're going to be attacked. You'll have to go watch it if you want to know what happens next. I'm digging this little segment. Why don't you start a podcast? You've already got 3 segments. Dad jokes, movie time. But I love this. This is great. I want to take an off topic really quickly, just about movies. I finally watched The Whale with Brendan Fraser in it, and I cried like a baby at the end. Like a baby. My cat was sitting with me, and it was just acting like, bro, smelling my face and my tears, and I was going, that's what it sounded like. It was, if you haven't seen the movie The Whale, and then I didn't know that he won an Oscar for it, so I was like, man, I hope that he should win an Oscar for that. And they said he did. Go watch that movie if you're into that. Still Mike Buchanan here. Nuno is a fantastic player. Have always loved Prince's music. Yeah. Where I live in Iowa has a connection to Prince. More specifically to his death. Is that where you got the fentanyl? Prince's plane made an emergency landing in Moline, Illinois. Yeah, because Prince was having a medical emergency. He was taken to the local hospital where he was given naloxone. I see the billboards for that says that saves lives. When he gained consciousness, he left against medical advice. He passed 7 days later. No saying he would still be alive had he stayed like the doctors wanted him to. Combination of have the flu and using drugs. Oh, he had the flu. Oh, goody, here I go again. See what I did there with bands saying we never use backing tracks? You shouldn't have to say things like that. It's true. Bands getting old but still wanting to sound like they did when they were 20. Shrugs shoulders. Bobby is one of my all-time favorite singers, and Overkill has always been my favorite band. Really need to see them on this tour. Hopefully they will break away from Europe and tour the U.S. a little. As far as the new album Scorched goes, all right, let's see. What can I say? It's Overkill doing what Overkill does. Thrash. Very well. Very good. I'm just not feeling that Bag of Bones song. I think it's the last track, so it's like, it's down there anyways. Still Bobby here. Once again, I was never a big fan of Poison, but as you know, I was dragged by an ex-girlfriend to go see them. By your ratted out hair, bro. She dragged you all the way to the concert with your Aquanet ratted hair. And being like, what? This isn't the same band. For me, I would say they were overproduced and their music was tamed down somewhat from MTV and radio. Have had a Trooper beer. Not impressed. Yeah, it wasn't all that. There was nothing to really go on about. I mean, but I'm sitting here drinking swill rice beers. You know what I mean? It's like, it's better than, your grocery store beer, for sure. I will give Miss Althea the point that The Thing from Another World is indeed a classic. I grew up with the 82 version. That's me too. So that holds a special place for me. And yes, go watch the original, The Blob. And yes, go watch the original. I can't tell. Yeah, The Blob and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Yeah, both great classics. I didn't really care for the remake with of The Blob with not Matt Dillon, his the poor man's Bob. What am I saying? Bob Dylan, Matt Dillon. What's his name? Kevin Dillon. Now, jokes of the week. Here we go. What kind of exercise do lazy people do? Diddly squats. That's right. Anything with the squats and the guts, you know. People love to work on all this up here, but the real tough shit is the legs and the guts. And that seems to be the stuff that needs the most work all the time. What did the sushi say to the bee? Wasabi! What does Batman call his grandmother? Grandma! I added the grandma part, but yeah, he calls her Nana. I mean, Batman's rich, though, right? You got to call him Queen Nana or something. Justice is a dish best served cold. If it were served warm, it would be just water. What? Justice is a dish best served cold. If it were served warm, it would be just water. I'm lost. My brains are bent. What pronouns does chocolate use? Hershey. Oh! Ah! And finally, I love that he puts in the little... So it's like I'm just reading a script. It's like he did the cue cards for Conan O'Brien or something. And finally, oh my heavens, I'm on the moon and there is nowhere to get a beer. There is no space bar. Oh! Get it, guys? The space bar on the computer? Ha! All right, damn it, you're getting a thumb too for that one. That was a pretty good set. Mike Buchanan there. We got Levi coming in. Levi, I think you got a request that's popping up here in the next day or two. If I could be right or wrong about that. He's talking about Whitesnake here. Look up Sauna Open Air 2008 Whitesnake, like 5 videos. I did look it up, and it's so crappy and grainy and you know, UHD or whatever. I'm just like, ah. I wish there was something. You know, you want to see him bending over and picking up his dentures or something, and it's going, I don't know where I'm going. Levi here coming in again. Roy Clark from Hee Haw, yes, was a great banjo and guitar player. Yes, indeed. Glenn Campbell was another awesome guitarist. He was a badass, and if you want to cry for days, watch that I'm Still Here documentary about Glenn Campbell. Because it's like he comes alive on stage with his family when he's playing, but he's got Alzheimer's. I think he's passed on now. But God, that's a good documentary, and he was a badass. Was it Glenn Campbell that did Rhinestone Cowboy? I'm pretty sure. Like a rhinestone cowboy. I have half a mind to hit on the Spotify right here, but you know what? They'll ding the whole video. Glenn Campbell was another great guitarist. By the way, love your intro exit song. I call it the Fompy Diablo. Thank you. I don't know what the Fompy is, but I'm going to go ahead and say it's acceptable. Oscar, our pal Oscar coming in. When can we expect the next video autopsy? I have watched a few of them, probably 5 or 6 times. Can't stop laughing. I think my favorite is the Joey Belladonna. I love doing that one. Joey Belladonna playing drums in the gazebo at a small town USA. I really love doing that, but I'll just give you a little secret. I just put them over in the heavy metal news snacks folder or whatever. I'm still doing I love doing those video autopsy-ish kind of videos. So I try and do one every Wednesday at 2 and every Friday at 2, my time. What do they call that? Mountain time. Pacific time. There you go, buddy. Yeah, look over in the heavy metal news snacks, or just look on the channel every Wednesday and Friday at 2. The wonderful Miss Althea coming in here. The Dumbstruck Fool says, intro equals Prince plus early 70s TV variety show. Beautiful. Yes. I thought that was all right last time. R.I.P. Prince. Still cannot believe he's gone. This is indeed a literal royal compliment to Nuno from him. Utmost respect. Roy Clark is the hee-haw banjo phenom. I love that. That guy's a goddamn banjo phenom. Banjo phenom whose name was escaping you. Rick Belk, erstwhile hee-haw honey, you are out there, question mark. Huh? I know who Rick Belk is. Let's see. Okay. Miss Althea on David Coverdale. Assuming he is being truthful, I respect that he does not use backing tracks, but I'm still not a fan of his or of Whitesnake. Just saying, and just being honest. Yeah. I mean, they were so massive. My mother was into them. I think that was the reason why. I mean, if those songs come on, I listen to them on the radio. If I'm riding on my bicycle, I listen to them on the radio. But, you know, I was more of a heavy metal guy than a Whitesnake guy. When your mom buys the record with Still of the Night on it, and she's blasting it in the house, you're like, yeah, I'll listen to something else. Although, if we all love Purple Rain. So, there you go. She's like, damn, Mama, you putting on Purple Rain again? Yeah, turn it up. Make some Hamburger Helper. Let's get going. Bobby Blitz, Miss Althea on Bobby Blitz. Okay, if I can stop myself from wanting to barf for a moment, patchouli oil gives me a headache. The mere thought of a thrash band's roadie unwashed junk, I think, may have given me a venereal disease. And that story came via Wrecking Ball Media. Oh, that's damn fine. I didn't even think about that. That's an inside ball there. Yeah, I think Wrecking Ball Media is, because Overkill, they have the Wrecking Crew, and I think Wrecking Ball Media is like something like that. But damn, that was a joke left on the table. Seriously, there are ladies present. I guess I should have finished the whole thing. Miss Althea on Bret Michaels. So Poison is officially never breaking up, huh? So I guess that means Ricky, Bobby, and CC can officially never claim Stockholm Syndrome and sue Bret over medical expenses, question mark. As far as the Native Tongue album, right. I personally thought it was so bad that I literally gave it away. Oh. So that's like a no-go. Does that have Ride the Wind on it? I mean, it would have to be, right? Never gonna stop until I touch the midnight sun. It would have to be, because I know the first two records. Did they put another one out with CC DeVille? Get in the comments. Counterpoint on Mike B's assessment with The Thing. In my opinion, the original will always be better. Other sci-fi classics from the same era that should have never been rebooted, in my opinion. The Blob, I agree with that one. And Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Now, that's the one that has Donald Sutherland in it. Or is this goes way back to the 50s, and that's the one that you're talking about that's not good, is the one with Donald Sutherland in it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I understand, because I'm waiting for them to just try and butcher The Exorcist. That was just one of them coinky dinks. A crazy director, a great script and everything, and it's just, but then again, people will argue at me and say, if you don't like it, don't watch it. But it's like, is nothing sacred? Can't we just have some things that we go, no, we don't try to redo it? And yes, Mystery Science Theater 3000 absolutely did replicas, and it was fantastic. A total win-win for me. Thank you for clearing that up, Miss Althea. And you've got Michael Espinosa here, our probably number one extreme fan, right? He says, numero uno. I got to see about this video. He's hurt himself. He was playing basketball on the Monsters of Rock, and Nuno hurt his legs. He hurt his knee. Oscar Salvador coming in, 10% alcohol by volume. I noticed the new Iron Maiden brew has the same color of malt liquor cans that local vagrants drink. Steel Reserve, Old English, and Colt 45. If you ever want to see something that is just, I don't know, it's weird to me, but I watch it on YouTube sometimes, is these dudes that chug a 40, you know, and all they do is just, they tap the bottle. They tap the bottle so you know that that's a real bottle, and then they, you know, crack it so you hear it go, shh. So it's like, this isn't, you know, lemonade or something like that. And then they just chug the thing as fast as they can do it, you know, like in a minute. What are they? But it's always Old English and Colt 45. Still Oscar here. Maybe Bruce Dickinson can make a commercial with Billy D. Williams and advertise it to the appropriate clientele. I'm guessing most will need sanctuary from the law after drinking this concoction. All right. There you go, my friend. Ed. We're going with Ed because I see Ed right there. Ed. Ah, yeah, Shane. Dominica Nikki Costa, the red-headed curly lady born in Tokyo, Japan, huh? From the song Like a Feather, 2001. She is a good soul singer. Huh. Who sang that song? I'm like a bird, I only fly away. I'd like to know who that is. And then they got old Binkowski. See, you can't do that with the little @ signs. Mike Binkowski, our Polish pal, he knows better than this. Hello, Shane. Do you remember Acid Drinkers? Yeah, we've done them on the channel. So maybe Acid Drinkers next. Acid Drinkers, 25 cents for a riff. All the best from Poland. Yeah, we've done a bunch of his stuff. He's our pal from Poland. I'm sorry, I can only give you the thumb today. There's a thumb for you, pal, because we don't do requests in the go zone. Okay. All right. I wish you all the best. I want you guys to have a hell of a weekend. Get out there, take some nice deep breaths. Work on the squats and the legs and the guts, okay? I know it's one great way to do it is just get on a bicycle. Then you don't have to do squats and stuff, but just get out there and get some breathing going, all right? Please. Pardon. I feel like I'm going to know what I'm doing here. Let's just try it. Ooh, I do like the sound of that. Let's get a little phaser or something. Man, we gotta get a little... Isn't there some kind of laser phaser on here? What about synth? Oh. 68? Hee. Sure do wish I could, if I could play that. Jive, 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 jive. He was more like a jiving king when he jives with me. He jives the news, it feels so good. Oh, yeah. Jiving up the sun. No. Who? Jive Talkin's not my son. Got to roll this sounds and I am the one. I'm one. Jive Talkin with my friends. Jive Talkin, it will never end. Jive Talkin. and we are having some fun. Now go do something fun with your family and friends.